Hi, I'm Brentan Schellenbach, and in this video we're going to go over some tennis ball therapy. So the perfect remedy after your stressful day, anytime you're feeling like you've got some knotting or tension in your back, any part of your back, even other muscles, you can use it on any fleshy part of your body, not on the bone, that doesn't feel so good. And you could do it with just one. So you don't need two of them necessarily. And I like to supplement my tennis ball therapy with usually one or two yoga blocks that I just kind of help myself out with. So I find myself using my yoga blocks all of the time. So they're definitely a worthwhile investment. And the foam ones are like $10. So I would definitely look into getting some of those. But when you've had just that really long day and you seem to be carrying a lot of weight in your back, and typically there's a lot of mental correlation between the weight we carry emotionally in our minds and that which we carry in our backs. It's always good to invest into a little self-care on those nights. So you can really begin to establish a good pattern of freeing yourself from that bondage of having a bad day. So it's nice to come to a little space of quiet, a little patch of darkness. If you have a noisy house, the attic, somewhere, any place. And then you would just come down to your back. And I'm gonna work with my shoulder right now, but you can work with any portion of your back. Kind of the only rule for your tennis ball therapy is that, like I said, you don't wanna have the tennis ball right underneath your bone. So when we're talking about the back, you want to avoid having it along the spine, that's the bone, on the shoulder blades themselves, on the back of the pelvis, this thing, and on the ribs. So there's lots of places that you can have the balls. And one of them is you would just kind of roll one shoulder up, and then I place it down on the floor. And I've been working with my shoulders long enough that I know where the blade is back there. If you're not that intimate with your shoulder girdle, this is a wonderful place to study that and kind of gain some access to that proprioception. So I just want to place it along the blade and I can roll on it. That feels really good. And if I find a place of particular tenderness or like a knot or something that's holding on, I want to give myself some time to break up that correspondence. So tension is just energy that's being reinforced in one particular area, and the pressure of that can kind of help break this up. So now that I've got it, I want to let myself get a little bit still. And I'm actually going to let myself get still on my yoga block. So this is why I particularly like it, because your blocks can help change the shape of your body, give you more or less weight onto your balls, and that way it becomes like a new experience every time you do it, and you can really modify to your liking. So once you have it, your job is to take very deep breaths and then try to relax everything. So I'm going to take a little inventory of what's working in my body. Different ways I'm trying to assist the ball with holding up my weight. So I'm like backing off of it. I'm not trying to give it all of my weight. So I'm trying to seek out that and then relax into the ball. And when I've done some research on this tennis ball therapy, I've done it through the chiropractor angle. And some of them were talking about holding this between 20 seconds to 2 to 3 minutes even. Because if you find a tender spot, you want to let it dissolve. You want to let it become a little bit more comfortable before you come out of it. And so if you had a second tennis ball, You could keep the first one where it is, roll the second side up, place that underneath your shoulder, and come back down and play like that. Roll, find space. You could, do it. I've done it sometimes where I place one of my balls high and one of my balls low, so that creates like a diagonal pressure along my upper back. And if you were looking for some lower back therapy, there's particularly juicy, useful places in the low back between the ribs and the pelvis. So you could just snuggle the balls, one or both, underneath there, kind of on either side of the spine, and then rest deeply in towards the floor. And if you found a couple of tender spots, you have to kind of roll and adjust and place them in different ways. But when you find a couple of those tender spots and you hold and you let them release, that can be a really great way to recover from just having a long day or a bad day or a grumpy day or a stressful day or whatever type of day today has been. So thanks for watching, and go play with some tennis balls. Namaste.